and welcome to the NXT Battleground review. We are the Dadley Boyz of WhatCulture. I'm Adam Wilborn, joined by Michael Hamlet and Michael Sidgwick, here to review everything that happened at NXT Battleground over the weekend. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. Where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review the show formerly known as NXT 2, but Friday Night SmackDown, EW Dynamite, Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a round of the week complete. A little bit of quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Hamlet and Sidgwick to review NXT Battleground. You're grounded! Battlegrounded! I'll put these on and ain't even bloody bother. Mom! Yo, innit? Ding, 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 ding.
What does that mean?
That's a machine paying out pennies, baby, at the casino.
What? You didn't even get the bit on my arm right. You were doing, oh, you're at the casino. Please go there. Please DM me. I want to stay there again. Yeah, that's going to be the last one for a while, isn't it? Probably.
We still got one on the NXT preview.
Oh, yeah.
Doing the fallout, of course, from NXT Battleground. So
that's good. You do the dog tags bit then, because I lost track of the characters there.
Sorry.
Yeah.
What do you make of the show?
It was disappointing. It was a card like one of the more, genuinely, one of the cards I anticipated most this year. I think we previewed it and I was excited pretty much about every match, and I would say only two of them truly delivered, and even one of them had a finish that you just cannot defend, really. So a bit of a disappointment. I liked elements of the aesthetic, whilst equally sharing the annoyance that the NXT wrestlers themselves had with how sort of squashed in the sides were. Just all right, and there was proper buzz going into it, and I think they could have done with delivering a slightly better show than what we got.
I wasn't disappointed because I expected quite little. I didn't expect very much. The one match that I had expectations for to be good was really good. One match. Elsewhere, like flat atmosphere in this experimental new venue. Like some really, really mediocre action, some bad finishes. Yeah. I'll level with you. What day is it? Tuesday?
Yeah.
I watched this Monday morning, too early, when I thought we were recording it on Monday, Adam. And I've pretty much forgotten most of the action.
Don't you worry, I'll take you through it. I loved this show. I thought it was sensational. Probably our best show coming out of Las Vegas over the last few months for me. Let's get into it. Show opens.
Not funny. It isn't.
It was half the length of...
Yeah, no, that was definitely going in its favour. Boot up that on-demand network. I didn't watch it live, so that runtime, a whole lot of videos to fast forward.
Skip.
Oh, yeah.
Got to take the ropes down for the underground. Skip.
So the show opened with Sexy Red greeting the fans and immediately splitting and twerking, which Twitter got very excited about.
As did Shawn Michaels.
Yes.
Triple H was like, at least all Heartbreak didn't twerk. And he did, in the end. He did twerk. Triple H. Sexy Red.
And we
Still
started...
more game than you, the game.
We started...
The view never changes, Paul.
Shawn Michaels looks like he's been on horseback for about a year. And he's just got off. Hasn't he?
He got off all right.
Yeah.
We started with the inaugural NXT Women's North American Championship match. Sol Ruka, Lash Legend, Fallon Henley, Jada Parker, Michin, and Kalani Jordan. Before we get into the match, a word on Fallon Henley and her fur coat.
Oh, my God. Cool new look for Fallon Henley. Overdue, realistically. The Fallon comes first thing. She wasn't going to be cleaning the bar bit that she does like that much longer, I don't think. Great look. And put over by Carmella.
Yes.
Who was watching live, and Fallon Henley was like, oh, this is like a dream. Like, you're one of my idols and all that sort of thing. I was like, that's pretty cool. I'd have Carmella in NXT. She was underrated, I think, at times, Carmella.
Yeah. Really good feud with Sasha Banks in the ring.
In the ring.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that. Question about the new gear. Obviously, she can't be the Dukes of Hazzard looking cowgirl character. But nonetheless, has she turned her back on the animals? Because she likes horses and such. Now she's wearing fur coats.
Maybe she got it from Vegas, probably, so maybe fake fur.
You hope so.
Got it on the strip.
Is there any excuse for real fur anymore? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Unless you're trying to impress your boss, if your boss is Shawn Michaels. In which case he was like, I love that coat.
How many animals did he have to shoot?
You're going to have to help me one then.
Dead downwind.
I'll shoot some animals for you. I want to get a coat out of it.
Okay. Bonus, if anything.
But, yeah.
Some fun spots in this match. There was a bit where Legend...
Lives have done a bang! Next to blew them, their kingdom come. Done any defenseless small animals to Sean. They're all God's creatures.
Who is the animal killer? Me.
I thought he was all creatures great and small. Like you know.
Who's going to shoot
You know, God made them, Sean. Do you know this? Seen this? You heard about this?
Mike Tyson. Who's going to kill all these endangered creatures? You will, Heartbreak.
Just funny, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, there was a spot where
Need to save 2 of every animal. Kill 2 of every animal. You got it, big man. Bang! Bang! Boom! That's what he does, isn't it?
Oh, God. Anyway, like the Viking Rules match, you could have a character called Noah on NXT who's got a big arc. There's 2 of every animals, but they're all dead. Sean's going, oh, that's what you wanted, wasn't it? I got you what you needed. So I can't be the cooker of the year if I've got nothing to barbecue.
Yeah, exactly. Get it on. It's a ladder match.
yes, there was a bit where Lash Legend put a sleeper.
What does Shawn Michaels like to hurt more? Small animals or the ACLs of women?
Lash Legend put a sleeper on Meechin, then Henley put a sleeper on Legend, and then Kalani Jordan was on top. It was like a 4-person sleeper, basically. I thought it was a nice spot. And, Lash Legend was the biggest threat in this match, as identified by the women, who all teamed up to gorilla press her onto a ladder that had been set up on the outside.
Suspended ladder bridge.
That you sense should have broken
Yes.
in order to really sell.
Looked better when it didn't.
Out of the
Yeah,
match
just
you were.
bounced off it.
Boom.
And towards the end, we had a couple of nice-looking soul snatchers. We talked about this on the preview. That's what they need to do, running up a ladder and what have you. Henley Yet one, I think it was, and Jada Parker. Kalani Jordan, though, hits a split-legged moonsault onto Meechin on a ladder. She climbs up, and Kalani Jordan makes history. She is the first ever NXT Women's North American Champion.
Like, I quite enjoyed this. More to the point than a ladder spot fest usually is, probably in the interest of maybe protecting the safety of the wrestlers. Like, not everybody had one thing realistically. There wasn't much more to have to remember. They're intricate enough. We hear wrestlers who are like way more experienced than these talk about how difficult they are to put together when there's all these moving pieces and that. So I don't think like they could have gotten their own way and they didn't. I will say the finish was a little bit anticlimactic because I did like what everybody got as their little moment of shine. And Kalani Jordan's was really to win. And it was just a bit sudden. It felt like there was, for all that they tried to give everybody something, and now the space is free to climb the ladder, it felt like it was just missing that one last thing. I don't know what it was because the Lash Legend spot was quite impressive, but you have to put her out the way first in order to facilitate the rest of them. But I feel like this was one spot shy of giving you that real sort of like punch the air feeling for Kalani Jordan. It was just, like there's nothing wrong in somebody opportunistically winning a ladder match. It should probably happen a little bit more than it does, but we're just trained to the drama, I suppose. There should be maybe one more in there.
You say one more. I think I needed about 30 more ladder spots. This is the safest, most nothing happening ladder match I've seen in my goddamn life. That Stampede one from 1978.
Where it's not even a step ladder.
Yeah.
You've got to lean up against that big wire thing.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, we think we need to stand it. Who's going to stand? The referee will just hold it. Climb up.
There was nothing happening, and I was like, what's the finish? I went, what? I mean, Jesus Christ, there's nothing to this. And I'm not, pancakes, waffles. So you want the women to die, do you, Sidge? Do you want the women to break their necks and die in the match, Sidgwick? No. Right? Because such, you know what I mean, though? It's like, hey, when you tweet, just in general. I say, you want them dead. You want them to die, do you, Sidgwick? No. Just, if you're going to do a ladder match, do it. You know what I mean? Hey, go full hog on these bad boys. You have to, you you kind of have to do it. I'm not being funny. I'm not trying. These women have probably got 2 cage matches between them. I'm not expecting something really intricate in the spaces between moves where you can perfectly build with expert craftsmanship towards that one spot, and it can mean more than 10 in another ladder match. I'm not saying that I would expect them to work that level of ladder match, and I'd like to see such a ladder match rather than just these hollow stunt shows. But my God, I mean, you watch this and you compare it to FTR versus Young Bucks. And I know it's not fair because of the level of talent involved, but at least try. Otherwise, just don't book. It's a ladder match. You've created the expectation for what a ladder match is. This was nout.
Me and him took the 2 biggest bumps probably in the whole match. And,
Still crap.
And the problem was they were kind of selling her on. Now, I've been in dangerous ladder matches before, and then you're reminded of that danger, and then her bumps weren't anywhere near as dangerous as the last time. It's like, well, I don't want you to smash your face open like you did the last time.
So you want them to die, Hamlet, do you?
However,
do you want them dead?
tiptoe closer to that level of danger, yeah. I enjoyed it, though. I was quite pleased for Klein Jordan as well. I get a little bit of that buzz that you get, that like sort of pride of seeing the wrestlers come on, and I think she has genuinely, like, about 6 to 8 months ago, she was the trainee of a wrestler that we would see make their shocking return to NXT later on this PLE. If you recall.
Jesus Christ,
Think about that. Like, she has come on pretty quickly when she's no longer under the wing of Ash by Elegance.
Isn't Elegance like, shouldn't that be the name of the fragrance? Can we just talk about this?
Yeah.
Right. Ash by Elegance, right? Surely you'd want to be Elegance by Ash. Like Ash would be the manufacturer. Well, I don't want to smell like Ash. I'd rather smell like Elegance. Or is the whole bit, I don't watch it, is the whole bit where she's a bit of a blithering idiot?
I don't think that's the bit. I don't watch either, but I don't think that's the bit. I think she's supposed to be
Smell like Ash.
elegant while smelling like Ash. That's
Me and Phil have had this exact same conversation. Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah. Why are you called Ash by Elegance? It would be just the wrong way around.
Like, some cedarwood by Elegance.
They should have cleared this up. They should have had a stud behind Nathan Frazier.
I like cedarwood.
Smell Ash. She's behind me, isn't she? Probably by Elegance.
Well, speaking of the tag champs, it was them up next. It was Axiom. And Nathan Fraser.
When I'm cleaning windows.
Ahead of their trip down the strip, as you've shown me.
You've seen this, Sidge. Axiom and Nathan Frazier, spoiler guys, win the match and go out in the piss with the belts. And you just see them walking down the strip half cut.
Don't watch it.
Or the wrestlers grappling over a fountain and Axiom's going, hey, Royal Rumble. And then they go past the bus and it's got the Rock's face on it. It's like, it's our boss. Woo!
Don't watch it.
Why not?
Because...
Does it make NXT seem bad?
No, it just makes you want to be there.
Yeah.
Oh,
It just makes you feel, you're like, oh, that looks like the best place on earth.
The one thing better than just being in Las Vegas, so you would be bumping into NXT wrestlers on the piss wearing their titles.
I need two $2 beers before I can face Vegas.
I'm sorry, Sid, that's impossible. You cannot get $2 beers in Las Vegas.
What?
It's not. You can't get $2 beers in Vegas.
That's why you're wrong, Will.
You are wrong.
Because if you want to play $1 blackjack or drink $2 beers, you can do so at the beautiful Oyo Hotel and Casino, Las Vegas, Nevada.
$2 beers. You think, if you're a skittish individual such as myself, and you feel like, it's a bit of an intense ride, this Las Vegas, and I don't necessarily have the disposition. It's like, I'm a bit on edge. I'll get into it. Oh, if it was only something I could take the edge off. Sir. Because you know how it happened?
How did
It's
this
a
happen?
beautiful Oyo Hotel and Casino. I just went up to the bar and I thought, you know what? It was on the second day, I think. So on the first, I was like, I can get into the spirit of Vegas, but my God, it's intense when you first walk out. And I'm more of an introverted. I've already gone places. I just want to stay where I am. I'm Carl Rod and George Costanza all at once. I was like, God damn it, I'll have a beer. What have they got on draft here? Goose Island. Nice and reliable. Like a Goose Island IPA. I could have a Goose Island IPA, please. Just one moment, sir. And then the guy turns around. Wonderful guy. The staff genuinely, we're not doing it. We're not being like facetious. We had a great time there. Yeah. People want to go back. And it was like, all you can see is foam. And you're like, I'll have to wait now a long time. I'll have to change the keg, change the taps or whatever. And I said, there's foam. So I'm looking, right, okay, well, they might not have any more. Or they'll have to change the keg or whatever. So I was like, what else have they got? I was like, at this particular bar, they've got it's a casino, not a bar. So they've got the premium IPA range and then like lagers. I'm more of an IPA guy than I had the lagers. I was like, sir, we don't have it. I'm sorry, the tap's broken. I was like, damn it. And I was like, you know what? I was thinking, you know what? I'm probably going to get a big meal tonight, so let's get a budget option for the lagers. I'll have a Bud Light. He goes, you'll be happy with the price, sir. And I was like, ooh, what about a nice like $6 instead of the $9 you usually pay? Oh, nice $6. That'll be $2. What? And I was like, I know what it is. They want you to lose your inhibition so you gamble. Guess what? I'm not gambling. Yeah. And there's no real...
Guess what? We're going to work. But we'll get down there first. So we'll get down there for half an hour early.
There's
no
real pressure.
It's 10 a.m. Sid.
And I was like,
let's do it.
I'll have that. And I'll go, price is right. Can I have another one?
Yeah, it's like, full Tommy Dreamer. Thank you so much. I have another.
Is it still $2? He's like, yes. I was like, this is great. And then I'd like go. I was like, have 2 Bud Lights, please. Every time I get 2.
Smart.
2.
Twisty caps.
And his thing, is this going to be $4? That'll be $4, sir.
God! There's the bar on the casino floor. Me and Sid would go down for some breakfast at the poolside cafe. We poked our head in the cabana bar without really getting to fully appreciate a quick game of air basketball in there. But our favourite location was this little pub within the casino.
The sports bar.
The sports bar, just a little tucked away where you could sit at the bar. There are, of course, things you can gamble at as you sit at the bar.
Oh.
It's great, man.
The oil's awesome.
It was so great. It was beautiful. Budget, but the location to die for. The beers, barely to pay for. $2 a shot.
Do the marketing as well as the performing. Oh,
I would wear a T-shirt if you give us this function room. I'm not sure. Like, all week. I love it there.
Yeah.
Like, unassuming compared to the casinos on the Strip. And you know that because you're so close to all of them. It makes you feel a bit more at home as opposed to, like, welcome to Egypt.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, I suppose I better spend big on your beers then. Want to see the Eiffel Tower? In America? Yes. It's good there. It's good. It's the Fed.
This bottle of Coke is 300 foot tall. What?
Honestly, man, like it was the Coca-Cola place on the Strip is a sort of a perfect hybrid of things me and Sid like because it had those little, you know, those beer taster trays. And we didn't get one. I regret it.
When you go like, what are your regrets in Vegas? Oh, I probably shouldn't have taken this. Probably shouldn't have, got into bed with it or whatever. It's like, we didn't do the, there was one like, there's a sour Coca-Cola.
Yeah. There's a sampler of Cokes from around the world and you can get like a sampler of maybe 8 and we just didn't get a chance to get back around to doing it.
The Coke flight.
Yeah. It was great there. Everything was great there. It's ridiculous.
Best place in the world, baby.
Roller coaster. Goes through the building.
I've never been on that.
It's really
I've been
great.
to Vegas
It goes
twice.
through the building.
I've never been on it.
There's fireworks in a swimming pool. What's that called?
The Bellagio.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The
De Batista by a fountain.
Oh my God, there's fireworks in the water.
Ceiling is the sky. Excuse me.
You need to do the zip line as well. I've done that before. That's
Where was
that? Fremont Street, I think.
I didn't really get as
Done
far
that
as that.
before. Down there.
Spent a lot of time in the MGM Grand.
Yes.
Getting lost.
Did you go to the? It's near the. I doubt it because it's near the zip line place. The Heart Attack Grill. Have you been there?
No.
It's class. They bring you like your drinks in a drip, and they're all nurses, and then you got like all this, and you have to weigh.
They're all
yourself.
nurses.
You have to.
Just watching.
You have to weigh yourself outside, and if you're like a certain weight, you eat for
Do you
free.
come on the menu?
Oh, you. Do you come on the menu?
You definitely said it, Wilborn, and you knew it.
I've got some.
They always got Hooters as well. It serves till like 11. We got off our flight and we were starving and knackered, and there was like, there's chicken wings and beer right there.
Chicken wings and beer, and then a lift, an elevator, like 10 seconds away to your bed.
Yeah. It's really great. Walking around the street with a pint. You can. I don't care about all there.
So Nathan Fraser and Axiom versus Luke
If you're
Gallows.
gonna get screwed by Hulk Hogan, that's the place for it to happen, isn't it? If you're Brett, it's like, well, I'm gonna make a night of this. I'm not gonna that'll spoil my weekend.
Anderson hit a TKO in here somewhere. They hit a combo neck breaker thing of theirs on Nathan for the 2, and a sit out powerbomb from Gallows also got a near fall.
What did you call him Nathan before? Makes me think that scene in The Office. It's the Orc monster.
That breaks my heart, that scene.
It's just like Stephen Merchant. Like he's got astigmatism in his eyes or something. I'm a big goggle-eyed freak. Well, I don't talk about the eyes.
I was really upset watching that when
What's
I
your
first
name?
watched it.
Nathan. It's a good name.
Good name. I honestly, broke my heart. That I feel for people, you know. I do.
An empath.
Nathan Fraser tried to hit a dive to the floor, but he got choke slammed onto the apron, and there was a super TKO from Carl Anderson to get a nice near fall on Axiom. Anderson tried it again. Fraser made the save, and Fraser dived onto Anderson. There was a super Spanish fly in there, and the Phoenix Splash. 1, 2, 3. They retain.
The best you were going to get out of the Good Brothers.
Like 2 3/4 stars.
Yeah, not very good, but the best you were going to get out of them, and probably a little bit better than I expected as a result. It was, I think, when they were featured back in the AJ Styles story, it was a relief that they weren't going to win the belts, basically.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel quite the right time for Axiom and Nathan Fraser to be getting called up or something like that, or even being split up. So the result was never really in doubt, and we can do away with the Good Brothers experiment now, please. Didn't do too much damage in hindsight. I just don't need any more of them.
2 thoughts on this match. Thought number 1, Nathan Fraser's, he continues to be ridiculous. Like he did that backflip into a DDT where it's like, how do you backflip so seamlessly in the exact same place and then just drop them with a what's it, reverse DDT?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. The pace he moves. I mean, he's incredible to watch. Thought number 2, right? I was quite happy with this. It's not really, is it an insight? Yeah, we'll go with that. Often, it's so hard to describe boring. Hamflet nailed it. Some moves happening in front of you. And that's how a boring match ultimately feels when there's no investment in the characters, there's no real sense of struggle, and there's no pizzazz. They're kind of literally just doing the moves that they can execute competently, safely, and that's it. There's a bit here when I was watching Carl Anderson. My God. So the spot is he's cutting off the hot tag. Nathan Fraser is going to tag in Axiom. So Carl Anderson's role at this moment to cut off the hot tag. And then the spot is, so right, he cuts off the hot tag and then he Irish whips Nathan Fraser into the opposite corner with the idea we can do some, cut off the ring, get him in the corner, double team him. But the spot is Nathan Fraser runs from the Irish whip and big boots, what's he called? Gallows off the apron. And you're thinking, right, look at every other cut-off. Like that awesome thing that Dax Harwood does where he slides on his knees. If you watched Jay White in that match against, it was FTR Bullet Club Gold 2, right? I didn't even think the match was that great. But Jay White, he has one of the nights of his life in that hour-long tag. The amount of times and the brilliant ways he finds to prevent the hot tag. It's just like, I can't even remember one off the top of my head. There's one where he's just basically collapsing to his knees and grabbing the back of the tights. And yes, there wasn't as much selling in this match. It wasn't as long, but I'm just using that as an example. Anderson here just basically walks up to him, grabs him by the arm and gives him an Irish whip. Like no sense of, oh, get out. Like, don't do that, don't do that. No urgency, no emotion, no panic, no sense of, oh, I've completely outwitted you here. Oh, what a clever bit of, like, body movement from me to do this. Just grab him and go. Just doing the moves. Someone on Twitter said he was 2012 Carl Anderson. Because it wasn't as mediocre, really. Like, it's unbelievable. He must be pissing himself laughing when he said, oh, it's 2012 again, Luke. It was literally 2012 once. So that's how time works in 2012.
You say that AEW is giving you everything. Even that couldn't give you 2012 Carl Anderson, and people have been begging for that. Like
Kenny Omega and those trios. I think it's just Kenny Omega were in them. Kenny Omega were in them. That's why they were great.
Let's move on next. Actually, come with me. Let's go. Underground.
I'm not selling that. It's poor.
Eric loves it.
Come with me.
Shayna Baszler versus Lola Vice in NXT Underground. It's fun, this. Shayna's getting...
You need to stop encouraging him.
You know, I like this match.
It's this behaviour.
Oh, that.
It's like a parents' conversation after the child's gone to bed, really. We need to stop. We need to be a united front here for his misbehaving.
I think it's one of them engagements counts something like, I don't know, no context bricks or whatever.
Bricks?
Bricks? Brits.
That's a good... No, write that down as an idea.
Just a brick. It's a little illustration of like two beans. They've not even got faces. And one bean goes to the other bean. How have you been? And then the second frame is just a singular zoom on the bean. And then there's a comment underneath saying, I can actually see the face on that second bean. And I thought of you two just like that, basically. He's done the basement bit.
So Shane is getting choked out and panics, and they just spill onto the crowd of people there around ringside, obviously for NXT Underground. Beats up Vice on the commentary table, tries to do a running knee, but Vice dodges and obviously then targets the injured knee of Shayna Baszler. Later on, she makes a comeback, does Shayna, takes the knee pad down, but runs straight into a spinning back fist to knock her out to the floor. Basically beat up the security or the people around ringside at one point. Vice kicked her in the head, but Baszler tried a triangle choke, and kicked Vice out to the floor again. But Vice sent her into the steps, another spinning back fist, and she wins it with the hammer fist. I like the sort of MMA influence afterwards where Shayna Baszler's tangling with the ref afterwards because she's no idea where she is.
Yeah, I had an okay time with this, but I just had higher expectations, truthfully. I was lucky enough to be at Bloodsport and get it in person for the first time, a format that I've never really enjoyed that much. And Shayna Baszler was at that one, and she fought Masha Slamovich, and there was a series of other matches where I was like, all right, I understand in person how you can generate different energy. There was like 10, however many matches there were, and they all felt different enough. Hard thing to do with this, like with the limitations that are placed upon you. And I remember thinking that watching this, that like Natalya did a better job with Lola Vice than Shayna Baszler, and I wouldn't have seen that coming. This was surprisingly cheap. I think they were going for the energy that being in the UFC Apex is supposed to give you, and Shayna's back.
Those table spots at the Apex.
both their MMA backgrounds. I was going to say Shayna's UFC background, but Lola Vice in Bellator, wasn't she? Yes. You know, so like this should be the place where this should be spot on, and there's a bunch of people in the crowd that should respond to it. The finish was about as close as they ever got to it, where she like rushes her with the punches.
Finish was good.
Yeah, and I did like the idea of Shayna being rattled by the stairs, but it was everything else that felt like, I don't know, cheap and a bit flabby and a bit like, I thought you both had a bit more of a technical game in you to sell this stipulation without quite as much fluff. And it just, again, like for all the energy to someone right at the very end, I thought they could do that without as many shortcuts as I thought they took here.
I don't place the blame on them two. I think given they were Bloodsport, no WWE interference whatsoever, I reckon they could fashion a more authentic, emulated MMA match than this. WWE simply cannot help themselves. Like, I'm trying not to be too cynical about it because I know I can't be. It's very much just an in-house checklist of things we do in matches. It just is. And there's a table and a stairs spot. Like, what are you doing? You have one opportunity to do something incredibly unique. But they're not really interested in doing that. This, like, I think how tragically, frankly, hilariously funny Raw Underground has sort of benefited NXT Underground because you're always going to draw the comparisons to Raw Underground rather than an actual Bloodsport match or Battle Arts or whatever. If this had just debuted in that period of Raw in 2020, it just never happened. And NXT was like, oh, we're going to do some MMA stuff. Like, if people cared enough to talk about it in you know, in critical terms, which a lot of people don't, people will be like, rubbish there. Absolutely rubbish. It just benefits. And they've done Raw Underground in a somewhat respectable way. Good on them. I mean, I've seen a lot of worked MMA matches. Like, these are some of the worst among them. Quite frankly, they are. And it's two wrestlers who should be able to do it.
It's nice to see the UFC influence there. There was lots of UFC names in the audience that they kept cutting to, and there was people warming up with UFC fighters. It was nice to see Forrest Griffin and Valentina Shevchenko in the crowd. And that led us to the North American triple threat, Obafemi versus Wesley versus Joe Coffey. Some awesome spots in here. One particular one, obviously. Obafemi suplexing both of them, as I think we pitched possibly in the preview. Yeah. They obviously team up for the most part, do Wesley and Joe Coffey. And they team up again following this. Femi's on the middle rope. Lee goes after him, and Wesley defies gravity, basically. I've never seen someone fly that high from a throw like that. Yeah. Obafemi just throws him in the air, and he lands on Joe Coffey. That looked awesome. Coffey got some near falls, hit a spine buster for 2. Lee got beaten up by the rest of Gallus, who got involved. Femi did, top row moonsault from Coffey, got a running headbutt for 2. Femi just decked all of Gallus, basically, but got hit with the all the best for the bells for a good near fall. But a standing Meteora put Coffey down. Cardiac kick got 2. Gallus pulled the referee out, though. Gallus pulled the referee out. Lee dived onto them, and Femi powerbomb Lee and Coffey. 1, 2, 3. Obafemi retains.
Good again, this. It's a cheat code at the moment, putting Obafemi in these 3 ways, because you've got 2 guys and they can bounce off each other on his behalf. But like I mentioned on the Raw review when we talk about Braun Breaker, for these to be really effective, you've got to have the talent to pull the stuff off and the agents or the producers or whatever do we call them to piece it all together. And for Obafemi at the moment, they are nailing it, and he is doing his part as well. He only improves. You are continuing to see things that leave you with memories. Like Obafemi's now had 2 triple threat matches, and there's like a million triple threat matches. There's a million North American title, whatever. He's had 2 where you're going to probably remember the spots at the end of the year in terms of this throw and in terms of the double fireman's carry thing. And they're not by accident, and they're placed in at the right time. And like the way that is registering is difference-making stuff for a wrestler who is limited like Obafemi, but limitations should be a good thing. I would rather have more limited guys that just do the stuff they do really well than what is sometimes the case on NXT of these like overtrained wrestlers that have got to be hybrid everything guys. I don't ever need to see, maybe I need to see it once, the Obafemi dive. Do you know what I mean? There will come a day where there will be an opportunity that will present itself that you can maybe come off the top onto 10 guys and you're like, well, oh my God, that's the most incredible thing. Maybe once, but not always. And they continue to measure him just right in that respect. And as well, the times in which the Wesley Joe Coffey relationship fell apart in the match fed into something later on. So again, this wasn't just stuff thrown away for Obafemi's benefits. Like a nice piece of business, this.
I thought this was good. I'll tell you what, Obafemi, in that he made a match featuring someone from Gallus. Interesting wrestler of the year. That'd be funny, like who's going to achieve?
Yeah.
Everyone can have great matches now. There's a pattern, there's a formula, a structure there that you can just do. Double down, this is awesome. Yeah. You cannot, unless you're a wrestler of the year candidate, do something interesting with a member of Gallus. Do it.
Gallus.
Thank you.
Who later on beat up Wesley as he's cutting a promo backstage, as you mentioned.
So I was quite impressed with that. On that basis alone, that spot looked incredible. Hide the negatives, accentuate the positives. That was Paul Heyman's famous maxim. Obafemi probably not ready quite to do 15-minute singles matches. At the same time, you can't do squashes forever. And at the same time, again, you have a guy who looks, moves, carries himself like that. You kind of have to push him big and push him early. And they're nailing it with this triple threat cheat code. It's good. It's good. Good booking. Not necessarily in terms of the best storytelling, because as we know, one-on-one, that's where greatness comes from in terms of feud building. But in terms of developing a guy in plain sight, which ultimately is how NXT should be measured, they're doing a cracking job with him. And he's doing a cracking job himself. He's great.
Match of the night came next. Roxanne Perez versus Jordan Grace for the NXT Women's title. Jordan Grace in white gear.
Oh, she looked great. Looked fantastic.
Can I just talk about this before I forget? You know what she reminded me of?
What?
One of my all-time favorite look on a terrible act, right? Where I've got this better, like, when a wrestler just looks the part so much, they just wish they were more over than they were, right? So they love the look of them so much. Who did Jordan Grace, in terms of the physique and the gear and the colour, remind me of?
The narcissist, Lex Luger.
Boom!
Yeah.
She was giving narcissist. The narcissist, the look.
Unbelievable.
Was great.
Multicolored cape and the white trunks and boots and the big mirror.
It's pristine, wasn't he? It was literally immaculate.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that comparison.
Over here jacking it at the Rumble. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. He's a
Love him.
It looked great. Didn't look great by the end.
Why didn't the narcissist get over as a heel? I mean, he looked the part. He carried himself. I watched the narcissist.
Yeah.
I was like, guy's an asshole.
Yeah. Knocked out Brett, didn't he, at the brunch. And they made him start wearing the elbow. I bought that as a kid.
Yeah.
He's got metal in his arm.
I like the narcissist better than the I need a hero.
Yeah. They'd have got there. Like Lex Luger himself said, I think one's more like me than the other, Vince. No, get on the bus.
Yeah.
You're going to be the other one. I need one that's just like you. You got my hair than Hulk anyway, if anything.
Yeah.
Don't even miss him. Okay.
Clue.
So yeah, Jordan Grace looked amazing. Less so by the end after her earring was ripped out by Roxanne Perez's fishnet.
Did her face get busted up as well?
No, it was just the blood. Have
Really?
you seen the close-up on her ear?
No.
It's one of them proper, like, all gone. Just a big gap where ear used to be because it got caught in, like, the fishnet of Roxanne's tights, and then it was bang, ripped out. And then the blood just kept, obviously, gushing
Tweeted
and
she's
spreading.
retiring wearing earrings as a result of this, when she wrestles at least.
Told you that.
You know, she wasn't the only Grace who had a bad night, though, of course. Ariana doing a live stream with Stacks, who got bonked on the head by some board they were using. Right, I've watched that about 5 times.
Yeah.
Stacks pissed himself. What did it sound like, Wilborn?
Bray is like,
Rubbish. I don't know why I keep asking you to do this.
I don't know why people keep saying that he's the same guy. I've never even seen the comparison.
no. So anyway, the story of the match is Jordan Grace, and Roxanne Perez has to use every shortcut possible to counteract the power that she's got there. So she's cutting corners, she's eye gouging to get out of power bombs and what have you. There's a bit where Perez thought, maybe I'm in for it here. Big crossbody, just gets caught. World's strongest slam. Jordan Grace missed the Vader bomb though. Grace also managed to hit though a super spinning torture rack bomb.
Oh my God.
Enjoyed that. Tries for the muscle buster, but Roxanne got out of it. And then here comes Tatum Paxley to try and steal the TNA Knockouts Championship. She's interrupted, as you mentioned, by Ash by Elegance, who Big Joseph.
You left.
Big Joseph.
Ash by Elegance came out. You see, they were considering putting the cameras on Gail K. Metal and then thought, no.
No. So as a result of that and Jordan Grace going after them, the Juggernaut driver gets counted into a cutter by Roxanne Perez. Nice finish this. Pop rocks 1, 2, 3.
The match, or the wrestlers in the match, are so good that the finish, even though it was ruined by the run-in, still looked class. Like Roxanne Perez having that second arrest so she could counter the Juggernaut driver with that cutter. Like, you really had to catch it as it was happening. Otherwise, like, what the hell's happened there? And then suddenly you realise Roxanne Perez is in the position to get the win with the Pop Rocks. Like, it sort of summed up the match for me. Like, Roxanne Perez.
She was great.
She was so great in this one. Like, Punk in that digital exclusive said she's head and shoulders above the rest. He was shooting, brother. Like, and you saw it a
Shoot
lot.
a shot.
I think he was too. Like, you
She didn't
saw it.
respond very well to it, though, did she?
No, she called him a hypocrite, are you? I was like, yeah.
Yes.
Yes. You saw it all the time as a babyface because it's where she's more naturally fitted and less so as a heel. But this was such a great compromise of, having to, not so much having to play the heel, but having to take every shortcut, every last advantage. I love seeing wrestlers treating it as real as you can, like Christian Cage quality to it, where I'm going to have to close the gap here. I've got a tiny opportunity. I'm going to sneak through it if I can. I'd just love that from Roxanne Perez because even as a heel, she just wrestles in that smart, intelligent way. She's got technical attributes. There's things she can do, but it's, not teaching grannies to suck eggs here. It's all about where you put them. And with Jordan Grace, there was somebody that could go with her the whole way, knew how to tell her story because that's the story she tells as the dominant TNA champion. It was like the chemistry of them physically was spot on. Great booking, great matchmaking. So disappointed in them even like going down any kind of a cop-out route. I know that Jordan Grace has got an open challenge this weekend that might be answered by Tatum Paxley, could be answered by Ash by Elegance. I understand that with interpromotional stuff, you've got other things to set up. I wish they had something more creative in the chamber because this match would have been more fondly remembered at the end of the year had it not been for a finish that just felt really wet and cheap.
Incredibly cheap finish, but like it's weird. I don't watch the show like you guys. I don't watch it for like, I wonder what this character's going to do next week, or God, high hopes for this character. I just watch it for a modicum of something that I like.
What would be your hopes for Roxanne Perez?
I thought this match was genuinely at times outstanding. I got no faith in this creative process or whatever. So I saw the finish. I was like, of course. And it's a delicate political thing. You're never going to get a good finish. I was realistic about this. You're never going to get a good, satisfactory finish. You could have screwed someone nicely. And you could have done something else, but I didn't care. Didn't expect to finish. I just wanted some elusive, good action in NXT. My God, Jordan Grace and Roxanne Perez delivered a complete step above everything else on the show. I mean, Nathan Frazier probably had the best individual performance, but that's because he's him. In terms of a match, chemistry, dynamic, a level above everything. Just the sense that they're thinking 2 or 3 moves ahead, or giving you the impression that they are immersed in it and thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead, and that they've got a strategy about them, that they've game planned, and there's a real great, unvarnished physicality to it all, a sense of struggle, just like everything. It just felt like they were working. It felt like they could tell a story. It just basically, they were giving you the impression, like, we know what we're doing. We can make... No, I hate using the term realistic in pro wrestling because literally none of it looks realistic. Even Timothy Thatcher, right? There are times when he's wrenching on one arm, right? Punch him in the face with the other. That's free. Even grapple fuck doesn't look that realistic compared to MMA. It just doesn't, right? Okay. But in terms of what's the best way of... I've been trying to crack this for my entire writing career. But like, I believe in whatever form this takes when them two were doing it and when the best wrestlers do it. And this was an embarrassment of the Performance Center, genuinely. Yet another indictment of, I don't know what you're doing there, but obviously it's not really working that well.
We got a bit with Sexy Red and Lola Vice and Sarah Schreiber twerking backstage. Then the attack on Wesley, which we'll probably talk a little bit more about on the NXT preview later on today.
More of this.
Oh, yes, more of this. And then we got to the main event. Trick Williams NXT Championship versus Ethan Page. Not much to this.
Mediocre, nothing happening.
And a massive disappointment as a result.
You know, sending each other into the steps and what have you. Trick Williams hit a rock bottom at one point for a 2 count. They went to the outside, spotted the announce table, power slam through it. Ethan Page got a 2 count off the back of an Ego's Edge on Trick Williams. But as a result of that, he yells at the referee, turns around, and gets hit with a trick shot from Trick Williams. 1, 2, 3. Trick Williams retains.
They tried to do the thing where Ethan Page was so annoyed that he hadn't got the win that he was almost getting himself disqualified, and it was that split second that was all Trick needed. Don't know if that was the finish for these 2 particular characters, to be honest, because you're kind of saying that Trick's got this one move that beats out. You know, he beat Carmelo with this. He's not needing 3 attempts at it. He's beating people once with it, so he's got a kill shot. So I understand that. But you've already got a champion. Who doesn't love Trick Williams?
It's usually over here at the entrance, yeah.
He's massively over everywhere, but it's an extreme version of the Jey Uso problem because you're trying to develop him, so theoretically it's fine. Like, Jey Uso kind of really has no excuse to be Jey Uso, but he's so over and so established at this point, 14 years deep on the main roster, that there's a deep love there that's established from, like, historically, like a good CV of matches. Trick hasn't got that yet, so you can be a bit more lenient with him. However, at this point as champion, rather than when he's on the rise, you pretty quickly need to start seeing evidence of what else is special. And you bring in a Sean Spears and you bring in an Ethan Page to have those matches, to do a bit of dark arts and make you think there's more to Trick Williams than perhaps there is at the moment, so that in a year's time you're like, God, I've really seen this character grow and develop in the ring. I love the character, but I've seen him grow and develop as a wrestler. This is the umpteenth match in a row where it's like, there's nout, mate, bell to bell. It's just not happening. And I want so desperately for it to happen for you. I'm so rooting for you. The finish did nothing for either of them because I think it was a failed attempt to protect Ethan Page. I think that was you could tell by the way that they were doing it. He sat in the corner. You know, like that one, I made that one mistake. It's going to be a rematch. Heatwaves in Toronto. They're going to go again.
And they've done the whole contract. There's a lot of stuff in this contract.
He snuck something in there. He's going to get another go, and this time I won't make that one mistake. I won't take my eyes off you, whatever the story's going to be. But it wasn't an effective enough protection job of Ethan Page in the same way it wasn't an effective enough promotion of Trick Williams. Failed them both.
It's just mediocre in the extreme. I think the idea, as Hamlet says, was for Page to look dominant, power move. Like, I think he got a lot of the match, and then it just had the ending for the ending to make it feel like Ethan Page was like, he's dominant there, but just that one mistake. When he was dominant, it was just that I'm watching some moves. Like, Trick Williams has got this thing where unless he's in there with Ilya Dragunov, it's just so much easier when, from my perspective as a critic, when you're analysing his matches, it's so much easier to take away what isn't happening in these matches because it's so hard to muster an opinion or an experience or an emotion even when you're watching them. It's I don't feel fired up. I don't feel... I can't suspend my disbelief in the moment and feel like he's in real trouble or he's really selling his arse off. I just watch him do moves and get moves done on him, and that's it. Like, that is literally it. There's no excitement really. There's no struggle. There's no drama. There's no emotion. Like, he doesn't do any of the things that make wrestling good. I'm sorry, he doesn't. His moves aren't so flashy and outstanding that you just watch it on a pure, my head is exploding with excitement. He doesn't do so much in his work where I'm like really emotionally locked in. And I just like, he does nothing. He does nothing. I want to say just nothing good because we keep saying it over and over and over again. He's got that which can't be taught. Mm-hmm. He's got a connection with the crowd. But unless he's in there with the master, it's just mediocre, nothing happening, no real connective tissue. It's just, he works nothing matches exclusively. Like, these are nothing matches. These are practice matches that you have in an FCW ring when you're 9 months in.
He'd resonate so much more because of his star power. He'd resonate so much more regularly in big buildings, but you cannot call him up. Like, I saw him at Stand and Deliver, whatever it was, 13,000 maybe. I was like, well, there's a star. And that's how you illustrate that. It's like, in big venues with loads of people, everyone's into it.
You should be able to do it everywhere.
But yeah, like, it's shows like this are going to have the opposite effect. And it's not that I think that people end up thinking he's a fraud because it's developmental.
If you're a star, you can turn any room.
Yeah. And
like that.
I think I don't know, he's maybe walking a bit of a tightrope. There will come a point where the matches will matter because he's the champion. You're supposed to be able to say that you've got all of it when you've got that belt and not that just... Because even this sort of like, Trick finds a way to win, he won't be beat. Like, I get that. I get that element of his character and he'll survive, like he survives finishes and that sort of thing. But it doesn't feel that earned by the time you get there. So that's one of the reasons why I don't think it's quite hitting. And they'll just ask you to forget on television as well. Trick Williams, he's super cool. He's beloved in their, like, on the weekly TV show. So he's going to come out and be this, like, beloved figure once again. But maybe Noam Dar. I'm really pleased with the sign of Ethan Page. Noam Dar's sort of cartoonish overselling. It would have been a very different story with that match, and maybe that was the better one. I don't know, like a bit sort of like a bit
bad
more.
Night for Ethan Page.
Yeah,
he just looked like he was all talk.
Yeah, and he's not. We know he's got more to him than what we saw there. I think
a bit more.
A bit.
I don't think he's a true main event talent. Like, you need to have the aura of a Roman Reigns to do such a stripped back match like that, where there's no real bombast to it. It's all a simple one-dimensional story of power move, power move, power move, power move. Oh, he's in control here. God, he's made one mistake. If you're going to do something that minimalist, you have to have the ability to just control a crowd, and Ethan Page doesn't have it.
See how they follow this up on NXT this evening. But let us know your thoughts on NXT Battleground in the comment section or on X at WhatCulture WWE. Watch, they can follow all three of us. You can follow Michael Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett.
Follow Michael Sidgwick at
Sidgwick.
Follow me at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. As I said, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. As I mentioned, we're going to be looking ahead to NXT a little bit later on today. But for now, it's been the NXT Battleground review. My thanks to Hamflett, Sidgwick. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you soon.